everybody. So here we are on a Friday afternoon, and I just got this box. I was basically emptying out my little storage space down in Florida again. I haven't been buying a whole lot lately. It's just, you know, life has been getting very expensive lately, and I'm trying not to, you know, fill up my entire house. So yeah, I just haven't really been buying very much. But I have bought a few little things here and there. I've also had some channel donations. This is not going to be a pure unboxing video. It's going to be kind of just a showing off of some things that I've accumulated, so you can see sort of what future projects might be coming up. But yeah, I'm really excited about opening this box, so let's take a look inside here. I'll just cut her like that. Hopefully no shipping disasters. So this is basically how MyUS typically ships things. They offer combined shipping, so you buy a bunch of things and you get them shipped to your box in Florida, and then you ship them up as a group to save a bit of money. Their packing abilities definitely are so-so. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. I've had stuff sometimes show up with a box that's like paper thin and everything's destroyed inside. And then other times they're packed like you could drop it from a C-130 at altitude and it'd be fine. So you never know what you're gonna get. So what do we got first here? Ooh, now I have been looking for this for a while. You might recall in a previous video I did, I recently acquired a Mic 3, and that was through the generosity of someone who was on eBay and knew of the channel and said, hey, I'll take your best offer here, which was not much really. I think it probably could have gone for a lot more. Anyway, I got the mic and I got a whole bunch of extra boards with it, and I also got a whole bunch of documentation. But the thing that was missing was like a construction or instruction manual. And I've been looking online. The mic was supposedly a really popular computer, but I really haven't been able to find very much online about it at all. It just seems to be one of those things where, yeah, there's very little documentation. There's been very few sales of mic computers over the years. So anyway, in that video, I was looking at all the different documentation, and they referenced this book, Microcomputer Design, which supposedly contains, a whole bunch of information about, building a computer according to how they set it up. And I think you could kind of do this just yourself with your own parts, but I think it became kind of the theoretical basis for the later mic machines. So I was hoping this would provide some insight in terms of how that works. Okay, so here we have the Microcomputer Design book by Martin Research. I believe this is the second edition of this manual. Yeah, it is, revised October 1976. So this is after Martin Research began selling the Mic 2 and Mic 3 machines. And what I have here is the Mic 3. So I was hoping this manual would contain some insights. I haven't really turned up a lot. Like if you Google them, there's really not a lot of information out there. I found a few historical periodicals that mention them, and some of those mentioned that the mic machines were quite popular. But we have to understand that popular in the context of the home computer market in 1975 is very different than what it would be today. Popular back then could mean maybe they sold 500 or 1,000 of these units. And of course, with attrition, with that low of a number, there's not very many out there. There's not been generally a lot of documentation available online. I have conversed with other collectors who have mics, and almost none of them have anything beyond the brochures and stuff that we have. So I kind of had a theory that maybe this book might be the answer. It might have that basically the mic design came from this. I think Martin Research was like a lot of companies back in the mid-70s as home computing was taking off, or personal computer was taking off. I think that they offered kind of plans or a design for a computer, just like Digital Group did in the beginning with their Digital Group packet #1. And it just kind of grew into a full-blown system like this one. So let's have a look and see exactly what we've got. It's a pretty thick book, and it is available online. I'll put a link in the description for the video here if you want to check it out. But it seems to contain kind of everything about, you know, how you go about building your own computer. And yeah, it looks, I think this is actually something I could handle. This looks kind of, you know, end user friendly or novice friendly. Let's see what else we got here. Peripheral strobe techniques, 8008 outputs. Yeah, this is really cool. And they're just kind of explaining how everything works, which is something I definitely need, because that would really not only help me operate the Mic 3, but also help with my troubleshooting of some of the old gear that I have. Yeah, this thing is so thick, man. Holy cow. What's in this silver box? We don't know until you tell us. The silver box is our name for this industrial control package. What's inside depends on your application. Based on a modular micro CPU board, the silver box may include a specialized keyboard and display panel. One or more memory boards is required, all tailored to your job. Battery back power supply, serial communications. The model 4244 converts 8-bit. Yeah, so this is basically an industrial case for a computer based on the Mic series of machines, I think. That's essentially what it is. They're not calling it a Mic here. I think they're just referring to the individual part numbers for the Mic boards. So for example, here we have model 471. The 471 CPU is a complete 8-bit central processor on a single printed circuit board based on the 8080 microprocessor. So yeah, if we look over here, let's put this over there for a sec. Just very carefully flip this open. That right there is 471. Now this is 471A, so this is a possibly slightly later revision. But yeah, it appears that they were selling these boards individually for different purposes. So there you go. So yeah, that gives me great hope that with this book, I'm hoping most of the design elements that they've laid out here basically carried over to the Mic. And so in trying to troubleshoot it, because I'm definitely expecting there's going to be some problems getting it running, this book might be really helpful. And if nothing else, it looks like a really great educational guide for someone like me who kind of understands what's going on at a circuit level, but not quite enough to be really effective and fast at fixing things. Anyway, that is the Martin Research Microcomputer Design Book. And yeah, these usually go for about 40 or 50 bucks. They're not exactly common. And this one's in really nice shape, so yeah, that's really great. All right, we got something in a USPS priority mail envelope, and it is positively bursting with it. Let's see what we got. Ooh, now these I'm excited about. You might recall a video I did not too long ago about the Microkit 816, which is apparently an extremely rare microcomputer that was used for development. It's based on the Intel 8080 and was developed, I think, in 1975. And there seems to be almost nothing out there about it other than a few promotional guides. There's no software that's been archived anywhere for it. I've been looking, I'm still looking. And unfortunately, it's one of those computers that you need the software for because it immediately tries to boot to that software when you turn it on. So if you don't have that, you have no chance of making it work. Now, I think some version of these has been archived already on BitSavers, but all the same, it's pretty awesome to get the original thing. I was hoping in here they might have, you know, some tidbits about the computer or other things that would help me kind of pin down sort of what I'm looking for to get it working again. So we can see this is basically a catalog, and oh, so much good stuff in here. I'm so glad that I can't just like go into a time machine and order all this. Man, they got all kinds of stuff. They even got a floppy disk system. I didn't realize they had that. Yeah, I don't think this particular brochure was actually archived on BitSavers or anything, so yeah, that's pretty amazing. MDOS, the best DOS available anywhere. MDOS remains unsurpassed by any microcomputer DOS thanks to significant design features, a whole bunch of reasons. Yeah, so they even had their own disk-based operating system. Let's see if they mention the software. Okay, so right over here, cassette tape operating system includes debugger, monitor, assembler, and copy utility. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's the one that I'm looking for. Again, nobody seems to have it. It doesn't seem to be archived anywhere. It might be lost permanently, but you know, I'll keep hoping. I'll keep hoping that it shows up somewhere. Somebody somewhere has it in a closet or in a garden shed or somewhere. There's a tape out there. It's got to be. But yeah, and yeah, like this shows that they were kind of doing more than what I thought they were doing. I mean, they're offering a rack-mounted system for industrial purposes, it looks like. So that goes a little bit beyond just being kind of a development system, I would think. Yeah, they've got all this stuff here. Yeah, it's just too bad there's so little information available out there. It's just too bad, you know, none of this is archived somewhere. It would have been really nice to. I'll just keep living in hope that one day I can fire up my 816 and actually see what it does. And then this is a more detailed brochure, and yeah, it's distributed by RM Electronics, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I suppose I could try tracing somebody from there, you know, I mean, it's been almost 50 years, but you never know. Somebody might still be alive. Maybe they kept something from the store in their personal collection somewhere. Yeah, and there's our 816 with the tape drives and the tapes. Oh, they're right there. I just can't, I can't get them. And yeah, this just basically lays out kind of everything that the machine comes with, or what you could get for it or do with it. So yeah, we're looking for the Microkit Tape Operating System, MTOS. Sounds like what we're after. Tape operating system, debugger, monitor. And then this is kind of a bunch of screen caps here of what you could expect to see on screen when you're operating it. Tape operating system assembler. Microkit disk operating system. Yeah, it's just a lot more detail than what was in the other brochure. And this is the Microkit keyboard, which I have. Can't do anything with. Darn you guys. And these are the boards, which I showed off in my video. So RAM module, tape, CRT. Should have the CPU in here somewhere. Yeah, it looks really good, but yeah, until I find actual software, unfortunately, all I can do is kind of gawk at it and imagine what it would be like to be able to operate it. Anyway, that is the Microkit 816 brochures. All right, you're probably wondering what the hell is that? Let me pull it out here. Ooh, I'm kind of excited about this one. This is Homebrew, folks. This is a Homebrew computer, believe it or not. I'm just going to try and undo the amazing packing job. Okay, so this is the cabinet to this machine. I'm trying to remove everything as gently as I can because I don't want to break any wires or I'm absolutely screwed. Okay, so that's out. So, so there is basically a bunch of switches and a slot. Actually, yeah, switches, and then these would be for power. I'd assume one of these is probably plus 5 volts and the other might be plus 12 or something. It's got a serial connector on it. Now, you're probably wondering where the computer is. Well, it's right here. Da, da, da. Check it out. So it's basically, it looks like an S100 proto board. And yeah, it is an Intel 8085 based single board computer. I've got some EEPROMs here, which I'm gonna dump right away. We're gonna do a whole video on this, so don't worry. We'll definitely be checking this one out. And yeah, we've got a serial UART. These are 8212s. There's probably RAM somewhere on here. Yeah, these 2114s. And yeah, so I don't know what it does, but basically I believe it plugs in like that. And yeah, I don't know what this was used for. This looks like somebody's hobby project. I don't think this would be a commercial thing unless they were using it to run something industrial. But yeah, they just literally have like an S100 card that just plugs in like that. And yeah, you hook up your power, and then you've got your reset switches and whatever else is going on here. And then you hook it up to a terminal. So that's gonna be really cool to check out in more detail. We're not gonna be doing that today, unfortunately, but look at that. Yeah, I can't do wire wrap. Like seriously, look at this. Look at this. I mean, that's really neat wire wrap. But like, I just look at all those wires, and you know, if I was trying to figure out what was not working, like forget it, man. I'd be so screwed. Yeah, that is actually a really neat wire wrap job. It's kept different colors for different things, so that kind of helps for sure. And you can see on the back here, he's got the labelings for the pins for each chip, which just makes life a whole lot easier. Yeah, this is a Vector 8800V, so yeah, I believe this would be from Vector Graphic, potentially. And yeah, he's basically just turned it into a single board 8085 based computer. That is awesome. Now, what year is this from? Yeah, it looks like 1981, so it looks extremely vintage, but it's actually not really. It's a little bit later on. That is awesome. Anyway, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to firing that up for you guys, and we will do that soon. Another envelope here. This one's a fighter. Okay, what do we got? Oh. Okay, now this I am genuinely excited about. This is a collection of vintage digital group flyers. These are all available online. Brian Blackburn's a very excellent bike collector site has these all archived. He has like everyone. I just wanted to have some originals in my collection. I just think they're really cool to look at, and honestly, I find it easier to read in a paper format than I do online. I'm just an old dinosaur, I guess. So this is a flyer. It doesn't mention which one it is. I think the seller said these were like 1 to 9 or 1 to 2. And these were all consolidated into a single flyer, which is flyer number 9, which I already have. So this is gonna go really great with this collection. So yeah, this is just laying out all the hardware that was available. Oh man. I hope they don't invent a time machine, because I'm literally going to go back and buy everything. I'm going to keep Digital Group in business for another 2 years with all the stuff I'm going to be buying. Yeah, so this is just the standard board set, it looks like, and that's pretty much what I have. And yeah, that looks like your typical basic Digital Group system. This is the mini mother, as they call it, or mini motherboard, power supply, all kinds of stuff. CPU variations, video-based operating system. Man. Yeah, I mean, I've seen all this before, but it's just, this is an actual printed flyer that they sent out. Okay, so this says flyer number 6. No, this is flyer number 6. Yeah, so I think a couple of these are stapled together. Just mention this flyer is intended. Yeah, no, it doesn't say what number it is, so maybe this was the first one, because that's usually how that can happen. Area code 303, Colorado. So here's flyer number 6, stapled to what I think is flyer number 1. And yeah, this is the Digital Group cassette storage system. So this is the FIDEC, which is another project I really want to get onto, but I just don't feel like I have the skill yet to manage something like that. It's quite complex. There's a lot of things with it that are kind of over my head. But yeah, I have probably 6 of those drives, the actual drives themselves, plus a 2-unit case of theirs, which I'm debating modifying into a 4-unit case because I really want to have the quad FIDEC going. And these are just regular tape decks that they were recommending. And yeah, they mentioned some software, Tiny Basic Games, Chomp, Checkers. Yeah, I should look for those and see if I have them already. I might. Yeah, I actually have quite a few games here. Got War 3 Therapy. Have a relaxing conversation with Dr. Therapy and investigate your inner problems. Oh, I gotta find that now. I bet I have that. I bet that's in my tape collection somewhere, so I'm definitely digging that out for a video. That's gonna be hilarious. Biorhythm, Taxman, yeah, don't want to talk to him. Snark, look at that. Use of the word snark in 1970s. I thought that was a more modern thing, but apparently not. Trap, Square Roots, Clock, Hammurabi, Try Governing Ancient Sumeria Successfully. Yeah, they got quite a few games in here. So yeah, that gives me something to look for, because a long time ago I got a whole bunch of tapes from a collector and I just never really got through them all. This is flyer number 7. And again, we've got a whole bunch of stuff there. It's mostly about software. Oh, I'm gonna love reading through all that. In more detail later. And of course, we've got an order sheet on the back. Man, you don't know how badly I would love to fill that out. But nobody will be answering. Then we got FIDEC corrections. There are 4 errors in the FIDEC software listings. That's cool. It's an errata. FIDEC software tape. Very cool also. This is flyer number 8, Holiday Greetings. So this was in probably November or December they released this. As we seem to do with every flyer, here we are again reminding you how long it's been since you last heard from us. And judging from our mail, our loyal customers were getting a wee bit anxious to find out what we've been up to. Yeah, that's probably not the way that you want to introduce things in a flyer, because that indicates that you might be a little bit unreliable, which unfortunately that was kind of what Digital Group was becoming back then. And yeah, this is the fancy, I think they call it, well, these are the prototype cabinets that they're displaying here, but I think this became the Byte Master or something along those lines. And yeah, I don't have one of these yet. I have the keyboard, although you can see the prototype, they've got the keyboard over to the right here. I don't know why they had it so wide. I guess they kind of wanted it to match the cabinet. I would have centered it or put it to the left, which actually they did. They put it to the left in the end. And then we've got the FIDEC cabinet. Yeah, that looks really, really nice. And those are really well engineered cases. And I have tried to secure one for my collection, but unfortunately, there's this thing called other collectors, and more specifically, other collectors with money, which I don't have right now. And yeah, they just outbid me every time. So what can you do? It's not like Digital Group is really well known, but there's just enough people out there to make it expensive. So thanks, guys. Yeah, this is their EEPROM memory board, which I have. This is great. Sanyo and Javelin monitors, which were quite popular for other machines as well, the Apple IIs. These are all their dealers, it looks like. I'm sure that thinned out over time as it became less and less reliable. And yeah, there's the order form, more software. A lot of these are going to be just kind of a repeat of things that they mentioned before. Ooh, yes, the printer. I've seen a couple of these come up for sale. Fortunately, they were part of a system package, and those were like over $1,000 on eBay, so I just didn't. I had to give up on that. But yeah, that's the internal mechanism for it there. It looks like a beast. And yeah, 90 column printer interface board, readout. Now this is something that if it ever comes up, I don't care what it costs, I'm gonna get it, because this is a board I've never seen in real life. I've never been able to find a picture of one, and nobody I know has one. It's called Picture Element Color Graphics. So this gave the Digital Group Systems a color graphics capability. I've never seen it demonstrated anywhere. No one that I know talks about it. I've never seen it demonstrated anywhere. It's basically a ghost. I don't know if it's vaporware, if they just built the one and advertised it and never actually sold it. But they did have a price for it. Assembled was $225. So yeah, we'll have to live in hope that it's out there. And we got flyer number 10. Yeah, this is a disk drive. Yeah, so this is where they started basically using CPM, I think, at one point. So this is a Z80 based machine. Yeah, and there is my basic box. That's the machine I have. I don't have that keyboard. I have the one that's more like that. See how they moved it over to the left there? But yeah, I do like my basic box. I'm never letting it go, but I would love to have one of those one day. So maybe that'll be a Christmas thing if one happens to come up at the right time. Okay. Flyer number 11, first class. Remember when mail had different classes? Yeah, this is just some random boards that they had. That looks like the basic box cabinet again, maybe. Yeah, this one looks kind of older, just from the quality of the photos. This is some great stuff in here. And that's that. Flyer number 12. Whoops. Shoot, I didn't want to do that, but that's what happens when you're opening these things one-handed sometimes. Digital Group Professional Data Display Monitor. Here's another masterclass on how not to handle customer relations. No one likes to announce price increases, especially at the Digital Group, but here we go. First, it's, you know, we're sorry that you haven't heard from us in a while. And then it's, yeah, we're gonna increase prices, even though we're having trouble delivering things on time. So here's the Byte Master. This is the portable version of that machine. These are stupid rare. The only ones that I know of, the only one I've ever seen in modern photos is the one that Brian has on his site. Yeah, that is a nice looking machine. Yeah, I covet that. I offered to buy it from him if he ever decides to sell it. I don't know if he still has it or not, but boy, I'd love to have one of those. I've heard they weren't really marketed. They were only really offered to insiders at Digital Group. There were only a few of them made. Flyer number 13. Holy smokes. Look, yeah, look at all that hardware, man. Oh, I wish I could go back in time. But of course, this stuff would all be crazy expensive and I wouldn't be able to afford it anyway, so. Yep. eBay's just helping me keep it real. Yeah, just another order form. Flyer 14. Holy smokes. Is this the last one? Yeah, that appears to be the last one. Video graphics, business software, company status, gobs of software. There's a way to describe it. Historical back padding there on the first page. Super games, standalone, written in machine code. Usual Star Wars, Monopoly, Life, Eliza. What was that? A version of Joseph Weisbaum's Eliza Doctor program. Now your computer can hold a reasonably coherent conversation with you via keyboard and TV. You type in a sentence and Eliza replies on screen. That's the original ChatGPT, folks, right there. Oh man. Yeah, this is the great thing about these flyers is, you know, they kind of alert you to what all was out there. So I had no idea about any of that software. So at least now I know what to look for. All right. Now this one you've probably already seen in our shorts feed. If you do watch shorts, a lot of people don't. And this is actually a computer. When I was looking at it first on eBay, I thought it might be a computer just based on the name. And I ran some pictures of it by people on various forums, and they were kind of divided. They thought it might be a keyboard, terminal, or part of some other machine like industrial equipment or something. But yeah, it was cheap, so I went for it, and it turns out it is a full-blown computer. This is the Terra Systems 1010, and it is a fully CP/M compatible portable computer that was basically used out in the field. It's pretty much ruggedized, waterproof, the whole bit, according to one government document, the only thing I could find about it online. And yeah, you can see it has a whole host of ports on it here on the back. You know, serial connections, probably for uploading data, parallel port, bunch of mode selection switches, and of course, power switch on the back there. We also have some ports. Let's see if I can get them here. This appears to be a modem port, and that is the power port. Now, originally when I was looking at the photos, I thought that was a single pin, you know, like center positive sort of DC power jack connector, but apparently it's not. It has actually 4 pins on it, and it might be AC, and we don't really know. So I haven't dared to power it up yet. I did remove the battery because batteries are known to cause tears. And yeah, it appears that this battery is supposed to put out about 8 volts. So I might be able to just bypass it because this is 8 volts DC. Just plug it in 8 volt DC power supply and see what happens on the inside there. But yeah, that is a full-blown machine. It runs a National Semiconductor NSC 800, which is instruction set compatible with the Z80. I think it's basically kind of like a low power Z80. Supposedly, on a full charge, this thing could run for upwards of 20 hours. So that's pretty good for 1985. And yeah, this is it's like a lead acid battery of some sort. They look like they're D cells. You can't really quite make them out there, but yeah, big battery. Yeah, so we can open it up here. Just have a look very carefully. We've got a board down here, which I think is the modem board because it connects to the modem jack, which is over there. Power supply comes in here. You can see there's like 4 wires. There's a bridge rectifier, and it looks like the battery connects up over here, and it can go straight up to the motherboard. And then the motherboard, which I showed off in the video, but I'll show again because we have more time this time. This 1-minute shorts videos really suck. And there we have it. That's the motherboard. Power comes in up here. And then we've got the ROMs for the system here. I believe this is memory. That is the microprocessor over there. And these are the bubble memories that basically, I guess, act like the hard drive. And it looks like it's got 3 out of 4 installed. I think the max that it could do is 512 kilobytes. So, you know, that's plenty for a CP/M portable system. And yeah, basically you would take this out into the field and, you know, do whatever work you needed to, and then connect it up to something at the office when you got back and transfer the data out. It's kind of a specialty thing. But supposedly it can run pretty much anything CPM based. So if I can figure out the power situation, I think it's literally just plugging in 8 volts right up there, then we can potentially power it up and actually see what it does. But yeah, it's a really cool machine. I'm glad I ignored those who were saying it was just a keyboard and went ahead and bought it, because yeah, these are not common at all. I went looking for past sales of them and it just doesn't exist anywhere. Anyway, I'm going to very carefully put this back together and then we'll move on to the next thing. Oh, what do we got here? This is more digital group stuff. This is even rarer. This is the Judge magazine, Joint Users of Digital Group Equipment. And yeah, this was a user group flyer, magazine, newsletter, whatever you want to call it. And this is volume 1, number 4. Yeah, there were a couple of these that came up on eBay. This is flyer number 13, it looks like. Okay, so we already have that, but you know, that's cool. But this, yeah, I've not really found a lot of user group content for the digital group stuff anywhere, not even on the Byte Collector site, at least not that I've seen. So this is really great because this is the actual users, and this just gives you more, this just gets you more in touch with the people who were using these things, like Jim Minks here. And Jim, if you're out there, definitely drop us a line in the comment section. Love to hear from you. We got games, and yeah, this is pretty typical for newsletter. They've taken something that somebody typed out on a typewriter, shrunk it down, and then photocopied it for the newsletter, reprinted it. DJI printer, that's so cool. And yeah, it looks like the address for this newsletter was Mrs. Diane Howerton in Arvada, Colorado. And yeah, I don't know if she was running this or if she was just helping out with creating it. Let's see here. There's a letter from her. To Diane Howerton. No, that's just to her. Still, these are all the octal codes for programming this stuff, which is awesome. All right, well, that'll be something definitely I'll have to archive. I'll check and see if anybody's got one archived already, but I don't think I've ever seen any Judge newsletters copied anywhere, so that's really cool. What is going on here? We seem to have, there's nothing in here. Oh, yeah, so this is another thing that MyOS does is, obviously before they can reship things to you, they have to basically unpackage and then inspect to make sure you're not like shipping drugs or something, and then send it back. But they always send the original packaging out, even if there's nothing in it. So yeah, I kind of think I know what this is. I just have to look in the box. Let's just see here. Oh, ouch. Ooh, yeah, there's something here, but sharp. Look at this, it's wrapped like fish and chips. What have we got? Oh, that is awesome. Okay. And then this goes with it. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so you're probably wondering what this is. Well, obviously it's not a computer, there's not enough there. What this is one of those early projects that you could basically write in for and then build, and it's a game. It's basically this here, I've got the assembly instructions. It's called Reaction Tennis by Digikit. Digikit sold a whole bunch of these things, and their ads were in all kinds of magazines and stuff, and they basically just shipped it as a kit with all these parts, and you built it yourself, and you learned a little bit about electronics, and then you got to play tennis as well. So let's just open this up here. And they had a bunch of these games, but I rarely see them come up online. They just seem to be, I think a lot of them ended up in the garbage. over the years. But yeah, there's a printed circuit board pattern for it. So, you know, I could take this, scan it in, and because I have the real board here and can compare to it, I might be able to basically recreate this PCB here, and then, you know, those of you that want to build one yourself, can do so. But isn't that cool? So yeah, it's basically tennis. So you've got these little LEDs, and you know, one person sits on one side and one person sits on the other side, and there's basically a serve and I think a hit button there, and you try to hit it at just the right time based on the lights. I don't know exactly how it works, but wow, that is really cool. But yeah, that is an example of one of the electronic gaming kits that were available. And you can see that there's no solder mask on it, there's no tinning, and there is Digikit Enterprises, a Bishop graphics company. I'm gonna keep looking for more of these because they had a whole bunch. Yeah, so just looking at the chips on it here, I see 1975, 05, 73, 74, yeah, so this is probably 1975. I don't know, when you've looked at enough of these things, you just kind of know the vintage. Just by, you know, whether it has solder mask on it, what color the PCB substrate is, and, you know, what the date codes of the chips on it are. Yeah, that is absolutely exquisite. I love this. You know what? We could probably fire this up. Like, it's only got one power connector on there. I bet the voltage requirements are quite minimal. Let's have a look here. Yeah, it looks like 4.5 to 6 volts. So yeah, it's an external battery. So I guess they intended it to be used with a battery, but we could just hook up a plus 5 volt power supply, I think. Okay, I've got it kind of janked up here. Hopefully this is not going to be a problem. I was nervous when I use the Apple II power supply that I forget which way the wires go, but I'm pretty sure I've got it. And yeah, before I turn it on, how do you play? How to play reaction tennis. Yeah, so to start the game, set the serve slide switch to player A and the speed slide switch to slow. Both players must press their reset switches. When player A has both the green and red LED lit on his side, it is time to serve. Player A now presses his serve switch. Watch the row of LEDs move in sequence toward player B's side. When the last red LED on the player B side is lit, press the serve switch and the ball will change direction. After a missed serve, both players must press their reset switches. Changing the serve from one player to the other is done by changing the setting on the serve slide switch. Reaction tennis has 2 speeds, slow and fast, and they can be changed by the speed slide switch. Okay, so serve and reset. Serve is at the bottom, reset is up there. And where is the speed? Which one is speed? Doesn't really say. S3 is the slide switch. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out which one is speed. It doesn't really say. Okay, well, let's give it power and we'll see what happens. All right, please don't explode. Please don't explode. There we go. Sequence through the lights. That one's on. Reset, reset. Okay, well, I'll just serve. Nope, maybe I'm not player 1. Nope, I have no idea what's going on here. Okay, reset, reset. I don't see anything actually happening. So, what are we missing here? Let's try changing that switch. Reset, reset. Serve. Oh, there it goes. Reset, reset. So I guess where it's lit there, that's where we're starting. And I have to hit it by the time it gets over there. So this should be interesting. Nope, maybe this side. Okay, I'm genuinely confused here. Oh! I think I almost got that one. Reset, reset. Yeah, I've got no idea what's going on here, but Fire one. Oh, you see that? I almost, I almost got it in time. Let's try it again. So yeah, these are supposed to be green, I think, but they're red in this case. Okay, ready? We're gonna fire it again. Okay, ready? We're gonna fire it again. Oh, reset, reset. Is there something I'm missing here? Oop. Nope, didn't quite make that one. Reset, reset. Yeah, I think this, one of these is supposed to slide. It's supposed to change the speed, I guess. Yeah, there's slow. Nice. Okay, well that gives a pretty good idea of how that works. So yeah, that was the slow setting, that's the fast. I guess this changes which player it is. And then I reset, reset. And then I serve. Okay. Or not. Make me look stupid. Yeah, this one doesn't seem to want to serve no matter what you do. So there might be something broken here. But yeah, you get the idea. That'd be kind of fun to play around with. So that is the Digikit Enterprises Reaction Tennis. Really cool. All right, here's our next thing. Oh, I'm really excited about this one. Can you guess what it is? It's definitely a computer. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Oh, look at this. I can't remember what I got this for. It was pretty cheap though. I just took a flyer on it because I was like, that looks like a computer for sure. For what? I have no idea. But, oh wow. Yeah, that is, what is going on with this? Oh, they've kind of bent it a little bit. Those are LEDs. Yeah, there's always some casualty in shipping, unfortunately, but it's not too bad. I'm very careful with that. Oh man, look at this thing. This is gorgeous. So what is it? Well, I know for sure it's a computer. Just handle it very carefully here because right there is a Z80 microprocessor. So it's definitely a computer, and we've got an EEPROM there. I actually sent some pictures of this from the eBay sale that I got it from to a bunch of guys on VCFed, and they said it has about 512 kilobytes of memory. So yeah, this is a serious computer of some sort. Let's have a look here. What does that say? WTD Inc. ATX XSP prototype, component side. What? So this is a prototype. I have never heard of this company, but it's a prototype. That's cool enough for me. Yeah, we got these ports on the end I don't really recognize, not really sure what they do. And then there's this big connector on the end here, which might be some kind of expansion bus. We've got indicator lights. This is a big old reset button. Yeah, this is definitely a full-blown computer. Another thing the VCFed guys remarked on was the fact that it looks like, obviously they've committed some of it to PCB, but then on the back, it's all wire wrap. Like, what is going on there? So yeah, this is definitely a prototype of some sort. I'm gonna have to look these guys up. This one says WTD Inc. Copyright 1985. ATS XSP prototype, solder side. Okay, I need to look this up. Okay, so the first thing I've been able to find here is in an issue of Computer World, WTD Inc., a computer terminal engineering and design firm, was acquired recently by Transaction Management Inc., a manufacturer of point-of-sale systems. So maybe this isn't a computer prototype, maybe this is a prototype for a smart terminal. Yeah, that's really all I can find about this. My guess is it is a prototype probably for a terminal of some sort, but yeah, I'm darned if I can figure out who it is. Searching up WTD Inc. only brought up that one Computer World article. So I'm really gonna have to hunt to figure out which machine this turned into. You know, it kind of seems to me like the board probably orients something like this and it plugs into the terminal, and then these ports would be at the back, maybe. But yeah, that is, just look at all that stuff. I guess what I'll have to do is dump this EEPROM, which hopefully hasn't lost all of its contents already because the tape is missing. And yeah, then we'll have a better idea of what it is. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I really don't have much in the way of prototypes at all, because the prototypes that I'm typically into are prototypes of machines that are popular, that other people are into, and they usually go for huge amounts of money. I think the only other prototype I have is that little modem that I had that was featured in my BBS video, setting up a Teleguard BBS. God, that is so cool. Yeah, that's going up on my wall. But yeah, if I can find some more information, any kind of documentation, or figure out how to power it. Like, I don't see anywhere on it where you would connect up power or anything, so I'm guessing it might be through that connector on the front there, or somewhere over here. Yeah, I'll have to do a little bit of digging on that one, but still, that's a genuine prototype, folks, because it says so right there. Awesome. All right, this is our next piece. This is copyright 1983 William White in Digital Research Computers. This is a Digital Research Computers ZRT-80 terminal. So yeah, this is basically a single board that they sold, and you could hook up your own keyboard and video output and video device, and yeah, basically interface via serial connection with kind of whatever computer back then you would have had it hooked up to. This dates to the early 80s, so there were still terminal-based computers out there that people were using. And yeah, it's a really nice, clean design. Every time I see William White, I want to say Walter White, but it's not that Mr. White. Yeah, I haven't tried it out yet. Definitely will do that in a video and see what it does. It's pretty well documented, so shouldn't be a problem to fire up. But yeah, I thought it might be a computer, but you know, again, the line between a smart terminal and a computer is a really thin one. And I believe this thing is actually capable of cranking out some graphics, so that would be really cool to check out one day. Anyway, that's that one. Next up, yes, these are the terminal resistors I have been waiting on for the 1974 terminal that basically had a few that were broken in the power supply, and so I'm hoping with replacing these I can finally get this stupid thing working. Yeah, basically I ordered 2 of these before, and you know, I could have ordered modern replacements, but yeah, I'm just being cautious because I'm a novice with this stuff and I really don't feel comfortable substituting parts without really knowing how it all works. Now, I only needed 2 of these, but unfortunately the supplier got it wrong. The first one he got right, it was a 1K ohm terminal resistor, but the other one is a 100 ohm terminal resistor. And yeah, so that kind of sabotaged the plan for that week. And the seller basically blamed it on the kid that he had stuffing the parts bags, which, I mean, if you look at them, they're really hard to read, right? So even under camera here, I'm having a hard time making out which is which. They're very, very close in part numbers. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Oh no! Son of a... yeah, that is not... no, that is not the same thing at all. It's not even the same part number. It's close. This one is an X201, but this is a U201. You see the form factor is different. It's the pins are bent downwards, whereas these are kind of a tripod arrangement, which is what I need. Oh man, how do you get that wrong? Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the auction. I'm looking at the auction on my other phone, and yeah, I ordered these. This is what it looks like in the photograph, and I had the right part number and everything. So yeah, I don't know, these eBay parts guys, like, they don't pay much attention to what they're actually shipping out the door. Anyway, I didn't make a big fuss about it when the first guy got it wrong because there were only 2 of them, and I figured I could probably use a 100 ohm trimmer resistor somewhere, but there's no way I'm going to use 100 of these. So yeah, that's going to be a complaint. Man, that sucks. All right, well, I guess I'm going to have to continue producing other videos until we can get this rectified. This project just seems to be cursed this way. Anyway, all right, next up, not much to show here. These are basically the PCBs for the MITS 1200 calculator. And these were floating around on eBay for a while, and they were really cheap, like a few bucks each or something. And I thought, well, what the heck? I might as well have another little piece of MITS history, because calculators are what I think they originally started out making before they went on to make the famous Altair 8800. Unfortunately, there's no other parts. I imagine you could probably come up with most of what you need to build one of these, and I might one day. But yeah, that is an original PCB from MITS Inc. I think, anyway. I mean, it's got the right substrate. It's got that classic old translucent green. So yeah, I do think these are original. I don't think they're repro. Anyway, all right, what do we got here? Oh, Electronic Systems. This is from a viewer named Larry, a fellow I consider to be kind of a friend now. And he's been sending me some stuff from his collection, including an Electronic Systems TV typewriter, which was really, really high up on my collection list. I'm not going to show that in this video just because it's going to be a video of its own, but he also sent some other stuff, and yeah, this is really generous of him. This is an Electronic Systems modem, and it's a complete kit. Electronic Systems were pretty well regarded. They produced a lot of kits for various different things electronic, with serial communications boards, their TV typewriter, and even some other terminal boards like the one that I featured in my Unbuilt kits video. So yeah, this is a totally unbuilt kit. You can see everything as it came originally. Yeah, not something I'm likely to take apart and build. I know that there's different schools of thought on that, and you know, I have machines that are in kit form that I would love to build, but I just feel like if I do that, I'm kind of taking away from history a little bit. So yeah, that's the modem. And this is just a photocopy of basically a brochure that they put out. So you can see the TV typewriter up in the upper right there. Tape interface, UART and baud rate generator, static RAM, Apple I motherboard? What? What is that? 10 slots. Huh. I don't know what that does or what that's for, but that's not... Connects to edge connector of the computer. Okay, so that's not... yeah, that's not an actual Apple I motherboard that they were selling there. It's like, holy cow. But yeah, that's another thing Larry sent along in the package. And then he sent along this. This is really cool. This is an Electrolabs ESAT 200B terminal motherboard. So yeah, this is a terminal on a board, a much more modern one than the TV typewriters, obviously. But yeah, it's completely unbuilt. And actually, one of these sold on eBay just recently for, I think it was like $100 or something, built with a keyboard. Yeah. And yeah, it looked pretty cool. I kind of wanted to buy it, but I kind of forgot about it, and yeah, the auction ran out before I had a chance to go back to it. So yeah, this is another one. I don't know if I would be inclined to build it or try to replicate it. You know, some of the decisions around whether you build or not build something depends on, you know, how rare it is, and, you know, whether it really matters to history if you use up another unbuilt kit or not. I don't think these are very numerous. I've only ever seen the one that showed up on eBay before this one. But yeah, Larry just threw this in the bag and it showed up here. I was like, yes, I have one anyway. Anyway, thank you so much, Larry. That is awesome. All right, what do we got next? Oh, I know what this is. Yeah, check this out. This is a Mazel II. This is a 6800 based single board computer. I think from early 1980s would be my guess. I'm just trying to see the chips here. Yeah, 1982 looks like. And yeah, it's quite a beefy thing. It's actually a French computer. I don't know if it's Quebec French or if it's like France French. I really haven't been able to find very much about it online. The seller was kind enough to include printouts of the one thing that I could find. But of course it's all in a foreign language, so I have to translate that. But yeah, it appears to be basically just a 6800 based single board computer, but a much more endowed one than some of your typical single board machines. And you can see here it's got some EEPROM sockets, and one of these says bug 2, which kind of leads me to think it might be a derivative of the original Motorola MIC-Bug firmware that ran a lot of the earliest 6800 based computers. So that could mean it's got like a serial interface, and maybe you could hook up a terminal to it. We do have LEDs up here in the corner, and a pretty decent keypad actually. It's missing one key, but you know, that's life. And yeah, that's the back side. Definitely was professionally made, probably was used in education or something somewhere. Yeah, if anybody's ever seen one of these, let me know. Definitely will hook it up in a video and see what we get. This is where the power connects. Unfortunately, the connector is obscuring some of the leads there. This is probably plus 12 over here, and that's probably minus 12. Yeah, I have to see some pictures just to be sure. But yeah, definitely you'll see that coming up on a future video. That is really cool. Okay, this next one you guys should recognize. Oh, even this is pretty heavy. Do you know what this is? Of course you know what this is. This is an IBM PS2 model L40SX. I finally got one of these. I've been wanting one for a while, on and off, but you'd think I'd have more IBM stuff. You'd think I'd have something like this already, but you know, these kind of vintage IBM, especially PS2, anything in that line is very, very popular, and tends to be really expensive, and I just object to paying big bucks for something that was pretty mass produced. So I just kind of waited. This one came up for, I think, 40 bucks, and I just grabbed it. And yeah, I mean, it's not in bad shape. You know, physically it's got a few dings and scratches. It's missing the back panels here, I think. That's where the battery holder should be. A floppy drive, pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not that badly beat up. It looks like this hinge here is definitely, that hinge is definitely toast. But yeah, that's the virtue of patience. If you wait long enough, eventually it will come to you cheaply. Yeah, let's open it up here. There we go. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty clean actually. It's pretty, it's not really a lot of dust or dirt or anything. Keyboard's nice and clean. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yes, this is the famous PS2 L40 keyboard, which is considered to be among the very best there ever was. And yeah, typing on it now, I totally get the hype. Wow, that is a really nice feel for a keyboard. Not sure what all these are. Probably indicator lights. We got our power and of course our contrast controls. This is not a color laptop, obviously. It would be a monochrome, and I think it's a 386SX of some variety in there for the processor. So yeah, it's a nice little machine. I mean, it's, you know, got that groovy IBM PS2 industrial designy thing going on. I guess we could try powering it up. I haven't tried powering it up yet. Let me just see if I can find an adapter. Unfortunately, it didn't come with a power supply, so if we want to power it up here, I know the batteries are probably long dead. I'll just see if I can find a power adapter somewhere in my collection. Got one. I got a 16-volt IBM adapter here that should do the trick. And this is not the right size adapter for this machine, but I do have one of these. These are kind of handy, so that adapts it to the right size, center positive, blah, 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 so that should all be okay. And we'll plug her in to the back, like so. All right, make sure we got that centered on camera properly. I don't know what this A and M button is, but yeah, we can see it's trying to put power in there. So yeah, these are definitely indicator lights. And yeah, we'll just hit the old power button and see what happens. Probably not much. Oh, no, it is alive. And I can hear the hard drive trying to spin up. That doesn't sound quite right for a hard drive. I don't know. It's like continuously clickety clacking. What is going on there? I'm assuming there's a BIOS setup disk out there somewhere I could use to set this up. Yeah, that just doesn't sound right. Let me just see if I can grab a boot disk. All right, so we're gonna try throwing a reference disk at it here. Let's see what happens. I'm sure that sound can't be good. I don't think this is gonna work out, but you never know. Yeah, the only IBM portable I ever had as a kid was the convertible. My dad brought home one from work. It did not belong to us, it belonged to work, and it was only around for a short time and then went away. I think because it was kind of expensive and way too big. The IBM convertibles, they can extend out like a stretch limousine, right, with all the component parts on the end. But yeah, this one, this would have been a nice one to have. All right, there's our reference disk. That came up reasonably quickly. I have no idea what hard drive is actually in here, so yeah. This error appears. Continue until the computer automatically configures itself to the normal settings. If this backup, okay. So let's complain about the battery, obviously. Set the date and time before running automatic configuration. Sure, whatever. Yeah, I don't really care what date it is. We're just seeing if this thing actually will work. Oh, it's running automatic configuration. How convenient. It is complete. Press enter, the system restarts itself. Okay. I'm assuming you want me to take the disk out though, right? It's like about 4 megs of RAM. Now we're going to find out where the hard drive's really at. When your hard drive sounds like a chipmunk on meth, it's probably not going to work out. Yeah, we're not getting anywhere here. It's just sort of hanging. Okay, well, that's going to be a project, I think, for another video, but yeah, I'm really happy to finally have one of these. Okay, what have we got here? Oh, I remember this. This was an impulse buy. Yeah, this is, I think, a Soviet clone of a Sinclair ZX-81. And yeah, I originally thought it was just a homebrew computer and somebody had kind of slapped a ZX-81 keyboard on there, but this is actually quite a bit bigger than the real ZX-81 keyboard. So I posted some photographs to VCFed just as I was purchasing the thing, and they pointed out that there were some Russian chips inside, and that kind of gave the game away. So, you know, it's still a cool thing, I think, in its own right. I've never had anything Soviet before, and I find their clones of things to be kind of interesting. I just wasn't actively collecting them because, you know, I have enough of in various machines and enough of the real ones. I don't really need to have a collection of clones from elsewhere. I'm trying to kind of limit my collecting activities these days. Maybe we can have a quick look here. I don't know exactly how this thing comes apart. But it was a part in the eBay listing. I think this must come off. All right, so here's the inside, and you can see why I was kind of fooled into thinking that it was domestic, because there's a lot of obviously American chips in here, but there are some that definitely appear to be Soviet or East European bloc. So yeah, it appears to be a Z80 based computer. I don't know exactly how much RAM that is, but I think it's probably a kilobyte. And yeah, it probably most likely is a clone of a Sinclair ZX81. It's very homebrew, which I think is really cool. That's always my favorite. The keyboards and everything, these PCBs look like they were etched, by the owner. And yeah, then they put them together in these nice little cases, and they've got them wrapped in electrical tape just to keep them permanently black colored. I'm not specifically out to collect Soviet gear, because it's just a whole nother genre and kind of almost a duplication of my existing collection, and I just don't have enough space anymore. I need to kind of slow down on that kind of thing. So yeah, but all the same, getting it accidentally, that's fine. And it's a small little device. Yeah, it is quite a bit bigger than a real ZX81. Oh, this is a Timex 1000, but still, you can see the keyboard is quite enlarged from the original. But yeah, just a really interesting little piece of Soviet, presumably Soviet or East European history. So I'll have to figure out how to wire it up, and yeah, we'll have a look at it in a future video. Okay, next up, this is a Syquest model SQ306R. This is basically a cartridge-based hard drive. And these used 5 megabyte removable cartridges. And basically you just put them in like this, pull this down, plug the cartridge in, and yeah, then away it goes. I got this because I have an external Tecmar hard drive enclosure for the Mac. It was actually the first hard drive option available for the Mac, and you could plug it in and use it with a Mac 128K. The only problem was you couldn't boot from it, because the 128K Mac just didn't have the ability to boot from hard drive. But you could use it as a storage space. You could install programs to it, which obviously, given that the 128K Mac only used 400K floppies, definitely was a little more convenient than having to swap floppies back and forth endlessly just to get something to load. And yeah, that drive unit that I got, it came with two 10 megabyte Tandon hard drives installed, but the original configuration was one 10 megabyte drive and then one 5 megabyte removable drive. So I managed to get my hands on one of these. What I didn't realize is the cartridges are pretty close to impossible to find. The 5 meg cartridges just don't exist. And I'm kind of kicking myself because the other day, one of these drives came up for sale on eBay, and it had the cartridge in it. Now, who knows if it worked, but the seller wanted $350 for the drive, and yeah, I don't know. Whenever things get into a few $100 for something like this, I go, I don't know. So I was sitting there thinking about it, and of course some other jerkweed went and paid the full ransom, and yeah, so they've got a 5 meg cartridge. And maybe that's what those cartridges are worth. I mean, like I said, you really literally can't find them. It's kind of weird because there were a fair number of these sold, I think, back in the day. But yeah, I'm hoping to find that cartridge one day. If anyone out there has one or sees one, please do shoot me a line, because I would love to plug it in and see if this drive works, and try and use an original 128K Mac with a hard drive. That would be kind of cool. There are versions of this drive that take larger cartridges, and those cartridges are a little bit more common, but this was, I think, the very first one. And yeah, the cartridges just aren't out there. They've appeared on eBay on occasion, but like very, very occasionally, like maybe one or two in 20-something years.
The Syquest hard disk cartridge has not been seen since 1988. If you have any information on its whereabouts, please contact the Tech Traveler.
That is the Syquest SQ306R. All right, this is our last item, and that is a very nice IBM, well, it's not really IBM, I think it's made by, I don't know who it's made by, but it's a YD-380, I think. 1.2 meg, 5¼ inch floppy disk drive. And what's special about this one is it has the black faceplate. I got this for my IBM 5162. It has a 360K drive in it right now. You can tell the difference, I think, because the 360K have a little circle with a asterisk thing in the middle there, and the 1.2 meg drives don't. And I just kind of wanted it because I'd seen a video of the 5162 long before I bought one, because they're kind of hard to find. And it had this drive, and it was just weird watching, you know, a quote-unquote XT machine make the boot up sounds of an IBM AT, and I thought, you know, that'd be kind of cool to have. And anyway, a 1.2 meg floppy disk is a whole lot more useful than a 360K, so yeah, I don't know if this is new, but it really looks clean. I think it might actually be brand new. So yeah, that should work great. And that will make copying files and stuff back and forth to that machine a lot easier. All right, well, that's it for this unboxing / show and tell thing that we're doing here. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you see stuff in here that you want to see in future videos. You'll probably see all of it at some point in a future video. Although it might be a while, you know, my pace for making videos is not the same as other YouTubers, but yeah, if you like what you've seen here, by all means, hit that like button. It always helps with the channel's engagement and get recommendations and stuff. If you don't, hit the dislike button, and I will definitely send you one of my special prizes. And yeah, if you really, really love the channel, please consider a subscription or even joining our Patreon. Just helps keep things going, and, you know, kind of tells me if I'm producing content that people actually want. Anyway, thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video. I have no idea what that one will be about, but I will try to make it as interesting as possible. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.